I see it. Doing the shares.
Doot. Wait. Come on. There it goes. Beautiful. I do kind of miss the fact that the end stream button is no longer red.
Yeah.
You know, big red button, you can't miss it.
Yeah. And then when they change it, it's suddenly like red is the most noticeable color. So when they change it, it's just suddenly you have to search for it.
Mm-hmm. Kind of makes me think of all the the recent. Have you seen the videos of the bad home renovations where it's all just gray aesthetics and all this and that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so people, these idiots are like flippers and whatnot, and they'll flip houses that have all these beautiful colors and original wooden fixtures and all that, and
Hmm.
replace it with just gray flooring, gray walls, white cabinets, like basically all stark. I'm like, I like gray to a point, but if I had that lack of color, I think I would overcorrect. There's rainbows on the walls, darn it.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm looking at my walls now, and they're kind of plain, but they're all like a plane that matches each other. I've never really felt like I needed to put decorations on my walls,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe painting someday if I stay here for long enough to decide that my walls need some color.
I really can't complain because I do have neutrals everywhere, but I do have things like carnival glass. I've got,
Hmm. Decorations, yeah.
yeah,
You got your splash of color that way.
yeah.
Meow meow.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave you to the links because my computer's deciding, you know what, I'm not doing squat. Hey, and Debrina.
And Sabrina.
Okay. So, one thing we need to do. These tables are, well, for one, they are very lacking in the shadow department. Just once I find the layer that has all the tables. They're here somewhere. And I'm not gonna label it just out of stubborn defiance. Aha! So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna duplicate this.
Oh.
Hmm?
Lucy.
Aw. I'm gonna do these a little bit more individually for one.
Yeah.
That way it makes it look like they each have their own little. They're not just copy and paste, which they totally aren't. Nope, nope, not at all.
Just have a little bit of accent here and there.
Yeah.
Shadows. Squeaky kitten. He's extra vocal today. Meh. Meh. Eh. Warble. Warbly warble. Oh, and the head bonk too.
No.
Yeah. Meow. Meow.
There's this little bean. Maybe more here. There might be some light coming in from the entrance.
Mm-hmm. Want some more crunchies? There you go. Some more crunchies for you.
There we go. A little bit more. And then also, we need to have like a shadow underneath them.
Yes, yeah. Gunster wants his hugs. Oh, hugs time for squeaky kittens.
I might do some final details behind the scenes, like maybe labels on the bottles and maybe flooring patterns.
Stuff for people to zoom into.
Yeah.
Some little Easter eggs.
Well, maybe not Easter eggs, but the stuff that's a little too boring for stream, like looking
Okay.
at every single bottle. Because those bottles, they need some work.
I suppose.
On here also. That's a nice cooler touch to it too. Having blue for the
A little more cooler colors to contrast with the generally orange vibe of the place, the orange wood.
And maybe have a pop of orange. Because I think a pop of orange for the table might...
Like a candle in a glass kind of thing?
Well, maybe like a chandelier hanging above, but also I could do that for the fine touches, having like a bottle of like different colors too. I have 6 tables, so it'll just have to be randomized as to what it is.
Do you draw your circles clockwise or counterclockwise?
I really don't pay attention.
I think I draw mine counterclockwise, but I think I noticed you're scribbling sort of going in a clockwise circular shape.
Ooh.
I always seem to draw mine counterclockwise. And you are right-handed, right? yeah, thinking back to when I would watch, like, when I would have my classes as a kid, and like in art classes as a kid. I don't know why, but I noticed when people would draw their circles and they would like, I guess it also depends whether they start at the top or the bottom of their circles, because yeah, people who start at the bottom of the circle and pull or push, and then start at the top of the circle, pull or push. Start at the top of the circle and push would be on the left hand, on a left-hander would be clockwise.
Mhm. I think the problem is for me, it would be like trying to discover which foot I use for walking first.
Oh yeah, would she step off of?
Yes, because I'd have to be mindful of it, and I couldn't
Yeah.
gauge directly what it would be legitimately because I couldn't tell if I'm just, making the results up or is it, you know,
I think I know mine is the left foot because we had to learn this in phys
is it
ed when we were doing
the
like,
left, right, left thingy?
yeah, phys ed when we were doing like foot races.
Mm. Because I want to say it's that because of that being a thing.
Hmm. I don't remember exactly how we determine it though. Like I know how to determine what my dominant eye is because of the gun training that I took in seventh grade.
Mm. I know what my dominant eye is because my left eye is garbage.
Hmm. Does that mean you'll shoot right-handed?
Probably not. I don't like handling guns.
Uh, so you won't shoot at all.
I don't ideally know. Personally, not my thing.
Mhm. I don't think like I have a lot of fun playing gun games in the arcade, but I don't think I'd like to shoot like a real gun in most situations. Like a shotgun for sure. Like a shotgun is probably the biggest contrast because I don't weigh enough to shoot a shotgun in real life.
Mm,
But firing a shotgun in like Doom or something, that's fun.
right.
Doom or Quake. Or even the medieval shotgun equivalent, the ethereal crossbow in Heretic.
Mm,
Those are fun weapons.
yeah.
But yeah, when I took that gun training class and we had to shoot down clay pigeons with a shotgun, I would always be thrown backwards when I managed to fire the thing. Like for one thing, I couldn't slap the trigger with enough like force to actually fire the thing. And when I did fire it, yeah, it always threw me backwards.
Mm. Oh, speaking of Doom, one person pointed out like there was a video of different songs that they were using some of their things. And
Hmm.
apparently, the theme one wasn't Master of Puppets. It was another one called No Morse, which I don't know. I still hear Master of Puppets because it's very distinct.
All right, see you later, Enderbrina.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for dropping by.
Yeah. I mean, both off of great albums. But, yeah.
Hmm. I kind of wonder if I end up trying to make a first-person shooter soundtrack like Doom, whether I could do it.
Mm.
Because the songs seem like I feel like I could figure out the formula if I listened to the soundtrack again. Well, I would want more of the uh, E1M1 kind of songs
Mm-hmm.
rather than the more like atmospheric stuff from like stage two onwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like playing through the games again with their Switch releases, um, I'm I realize that the songs that I really like from Doom are not very common. It's like maybe 2 or 3 tracks out of the first game, and then 2 or 3 tracks out of the second game, and like nothing out of the recent games.
I am all for the metal.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if I were to choose metal for the genre, it would be stuff that not too many people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe people who know the genre, definitely people who know the genre, because if they know, they know. But you know,
Just be referential enough,
yeah,
so that they recognize it, but not so referential that there's a lawsuit on your hands.
yeah. Definitely some Thin Lizzy because some of their
Mm,
stuff
yeah.
is very metal centric, especially the later stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I might draw from. No,
Like,
I'll probably just draw from video games. Even like the real band's songs that I'm thinking of are ones that I only know because of video games.
mm-hmm. I think Cold Sweat would probably be a good one. Just that riff that you hear at the beginning.
All right.
It kind of
Something
goes like
to something to build off of. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could probably build something off of that. Especially with the tools available now, like LMMS and MuseScore.
And if I were to choose another one from that band, it would definitely be maybe the bass line from Holy War because that starting bass line,
Yeah.
it's just a really nice bass line.
I feel like maybe a little bit of the Mega Man X trilogy, because there was a lot of guitar used in that, and it would probably fit in like if the mood were changed just the tiniest. Like you wouldn't have to make too much of a change for Mega Man X music
Yeah.
to become Doom music.
Yeah, I could see that.
I feel like it's like the electric guitar was just made for like whenever X is on screen. Like they arbitrarily assigned the electric guitar to X. Although it does show up a bit more prominently when Zero's on screen.
What do you think? Maybe a little bit less pronounced.
Yeah, a little bit of maybe a smear.
There we go. What do you think?
Looking pretty natural. I want to say the two tables on the left look a little too similar to each other.
These two? Oh wait, left.
Yeah, the ones against the left wall there, because they both have that one streak through the middle going from the right to the left and fading to the left.
We can remedy this. There we go. A little different.
Yeah. I have these like little cabinet doors, and they have sort of they have markings on them that make them look like wood, but they're not wood. Like they're some kind of synthetic substance that's supposed to mimic the look and feel of wood, but be more durable, more water resistant, stuff like that, less prone to warping. And I've noticed that, like, I basically figured like it's for all decorative purposes, it's no different from wood. Until I noticed that like two of the doors are identical. It's just one of them is upside down from the other.
Whoops.
I guess maybe when you just hang around a certain place so much, your natural pattern seeking instincts kind of kick in.
Yep. Can relate. Seeing dogs and wood paneling on my end. I mean, to be fair, it looked pretty dog-like.
Yeah. I think I remember you tweeting some images out.
Yep. is definitely a house from the 70s, henceforth. There is wood paneling everywhere in the living room.
Is that how dogwood gets its name?
Probably not.
Now I have to look that up. Why dogwood name? Huh. Multiple theories with no single consensus. So the short answer, nobody knows.
Aren't you glad that the universe is filled with such, riveting things? Like, we have no clue why this is called dogwood, it just is.
Yeah. Like there's a couple of competing ideas, like the bits of it. I forgot exactly how it was written, but like yeah, certain bits of it were called dags, so that it was supposed to be called dagwood, but then that just mutated over time to dogwood.
I mean, that kind of makes sense because the flowers have little nips at the end of it.
Huh.
I don't know. I'd imagine something like that, a name like that. Dagwood sounds more appropriate.
Yeah.
See, copy and paste are your friends, folks. Except when it's over the legs.
Yeah.
Copy and paste is your friends, folks. You just might need to adjust some things. We're rearranging the table.
Yeah. So I imagine that like all the chairs are neatly placed around the tables when the place opens, but eventually someone's going to be like, okay, we're just going to borrow a chair from this table. Oh, these guys aren't using their fourth chair, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the night, there's like one table with 10 chairs and two tables with one. And then there's like three chairs piled up in a corner for some reason.
Somehow the big table has the least amount of chairs.
Yeah. There's just one chair lying down underneath it. Now this will take some fiddling with.
Hmm. Oops.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oops.
Oh yeah, the brooding corner.
Yeah, the brooding corner.
Can't forget about the edgelords of the parties.
No, no. We are an all-inclusive place, even
Yep,
for those
they
who
pay
are,
for.
intolerably broody.
Yeah, they pay for their drinks.
The waitress is like, they're annoying, but they pay for their drinks, so I don't care.
Yeah.
And they don't start fights, usually. Except for that one time, and they never specify what that one time is. And then outsiders are going to be like, what's that one time? I don't want to get into it. Or they'll just say silent, and the subtext will say, she looks like she's trapped in thought she doesn't want to.
Yeah, just starts staring out into the distance.
Into the void.
Yeah. What do they call it? The 1,000-yard stare?
Yep. Definitely the 1,000-yard stare. Just doing some minor touch ups. Because these chairs, they have the fronts of them.
Mm-hmm.
Probably won't have too much shading. We're not focused on the chairs as much.
Yeah.
Might have a little to not stand out so bad, but
Yeah. This is looking like a pretty ready to model bar.
yeah. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to cheat a little. Just a little. And we're going to do this. What am I doing? I'm not tilting. I'm not tilting.
Just sliding the chair over there.
Mm-hmm. Oops. And then we're going to slide this one. Hold on. I had to reset the sliding tool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on, Rebel. Don't do this to me. Okay. I'm going to save. And this is where we're going to cheat.
Ah. Slide in a couple extra chairs in front and a couple extra in back.
Yeah. It's low effort, but it's effective.
Yeah.
Whoops.
The big old poker table right in front of the stage.
Mm-hmm. Gosh darn it.
Just the tiniest little bit of rotation.
Yeah. There's no shame in shortcuts.
Mm-hmm. Especially with digital art.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, there are shortcuts with traditional art as well.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Like,
Like,
with different painting setups and whatnot, like fan brush for a good example. The fan brush is a good way to shortcut a lot of things, like greenery and also waterfalls
okay.
and
Yeah, I was
grass.
thinking like taking a loofah and sort of just or a sponge and dabbing paint onto the canvas to create a particular texture.
There we go.
Kind of reminded of this old arcade game called Sunset Riders,
Hmm.
where I think half, well, two two of the bonus stages in the game and one boss stage take place in various bars and taverns. It's like a Wild West themed. Like if you took the Ninja Turtles arcade game, it was also made by Konami. So if you take the Ninja Turtles arcade game and made it cowboy themed,
Huh.
it was 4 players as well.
All right.
It was not bad. It was really unique. I think there is a modern take on it by a there's an indie developer who made a modern take on Sunset Riders, and I wish I could remember what it was called. It might be on my wish list. I'm pretty sure I wish listed it, but if it had online play, I would have gotten it right away.
Mm. Adding a little bit of a dark shadow here on these.
Let's see if I could narrow down a search to find what that game is called. Oh, apparently Konami did a ninja themed version of Sunset Riders.
Hmm. Seems very appropriate for Konami.
Yeah. I haven't really known any of those like the companies that were particularly big back then. Um, to be known for basically ROM hacking their own old works.
Hmm.
Let's see, what is this game called? This looks like what I was thinking of. Death Wish Enforcers.
Hmm. Okay, I made one exception with labeling.
Cheers.
I'm not gonna remember that, but
Yeah. I mean, sometimes like GIMP kind of forces me to label my layers because if I don't label them, it'll just name it whatever I named my last named layer.
whoops.
So like I'll be like using a couple of throwaway layers and then I'll realize that like none of them are text, but they're labeled text number 1, text number 2, text number 3, text number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and if it is a text layer, and it isn't labeled and it isn't named text, then it'll be named whatever the contents of the text layer are.
Oh.
So like if you draw a text layer and then type, I don't know, um, speech bubble, like I don't know, help or something. If you type help, then all of your layers after that will be named help number one, help number two, help number three, and so on.
That just sounds painful.
Yeah, but it did get me into the habit of labeling my layers properly, I guess.
Mm.
Unless, well, other than when I'm making a really short, like a really quick thing, then I don't care if the top three layers are named background, because I'm not gonna look at them. Or if I'm only using 7 layers, then like I can just click through them, click visibility on them, and see which one they are.
Gosh darn it, I know this one's here somewhere. I'm looking for the bottles. Found one of the layers. And now you're
Oh,
here, darn it. Aha.
there we are. Bottles.
Since the focus probably won't be too high on the bottles, I'm gonna do one thing where it's just a single solitary blue label. They might be different sizes. Okay, maybe not that dark.
She only buys Blue Label booze.
Maybe that's the brand. You can have whatever you like as long as it's got a blue label.
Yeah. Or maybe that's just like the stuff that's produced in the castle.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it gets shipped out to
The labels are just happen to be the cheapest, or it's the one vendor that has the perfect label.
inn. Or maybe she labels them herself,
Yeah.
just recycles the bottles.
It could be homemade.
Yeah. Big old family alcohol operation.
We will. Yeah, label is not going to stick out on that one. Syrups, maybe.
Red label syrups.
Yeah. Maybe it's to help the person who's,
Mixing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they train a lot of new people and they're like, okay, the red stuff is just syrup. You could give it to anyone. You could literally give it to a child.
Yeah. Mix with water. Have a nice non-alcoholic sweet drink.
Yeah, or lemonade or
Mm-hmm.
orange juice or any type of juice. And then that one. It's very dark. So I'm thinking maybe orange label?
A more pastel.
The orange label is the really hard stuff that you don't want to just give to anybody. Despite that, it's at the bottom rack.
Yeah. The easiest to reach.
Yep. Great salespeople here. Wonderful.
I imagine that really tall bottle would probably be like ice wine.
Hmm. I mean, it might be.
I never actually tried ice wine, but when I saw it in the stores, it always had like a practically cylindrical kind of bottle.
Hmm.
Or maybe that was just the box that the bottle came in.
Never even heard of it. Well, it didn't like I really.
It was a Canadian specialty for a while. I'm not sure if it's still quite as readily available as the demand for it has gone down.
Mm.
Probably doesn't help that not many people have heard of it. But yeah, it's supposed to be a uh, really sweet and low alcohol wine,
Ah.
and it's only like what makes it so special and difficult to make is that the grapes have to be harvested when they're partially frozen,
Hmm. Yeah,
and
that's
like
gonna be
each grape,
harder now.
yeah, and each grape only yields like a drop or two of the ice wine.
Yeah, I could see why it kind of fell out of favor. Might be more expensive too with all that.
hmm hmm More expensive, but apparently not prohibitively expensive. Like when I saw it in the stores, I could afford it. I just, well, I always had an excuse not to get it. Like I didn't think I could actually store it properly or drink it fast enough before it like went bad, turned to vinegar or whatever.
Hmm.
Whereas something cheaper, I wouldn't have to worry if it went bad. Or like that one coffee liqueur, that was like that was $40,
Hmm.
and so about the same price as a Game Boy Color game, basically.
Hmm.
And that stuff, yeah, like I wouldn't. It, it was special, but not like ice wine special.
Hmm.
For some reason, ice wine seemed to have this air of like really treat this thing with the utmost care. Like practically need to house it in a castle
Hmm.
if you're gonna buy it. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I never got around to buying it.
Yeah, I could see that being it. Yeah. At least with like the coffee stuff and all that, you could use it as an extract.
hmm Although, well, the way that the bottle was shaped for the coffee stuff, it would always pour out both parts at the same time. And of
Hmm.
course, I wouldn't want to run out of one and then still have a bunch of the other
Right.
because they're supposed to be poured out at the same time and then layer up in the glass.
Oh, okay. Because
I
one
never
thing,
actually linked you an image of that, did you? Did I? I'll do
mm-mm.
that now.
But one thing I kind of think of is like I have a chocolate liqueur that I use almost like a vanilla extract.
All right.
And whenever I bake with it, and if I want something really like chocolatey flavoring, I put a little of that in there. It'll bake off and it'll also give it a little extra boost in flavor.
Kidding, 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 kidding. Such a silly kidding, kidding. Why are you so silly?
Very subtle shade here. But I recently found out. So with Samurai Jack,
Mm-hmm.
with the ending of it, apparently there was a game released afterwards and they had an
Oh, yeah,
alternative
I heard of
ending.
that.
I'm like,
Yeah, they changed the ending for the game.
you know it's bad when they change the ending.
Yeah, I
Oh,
I was neutral on the ending because like I saw the first episode of Samurai Jack and then the last season.
right.
And I'm like, wow, this was amazing.
Like I just
And
feel
I missed
sad for
most of it.
Jack.
Yeah,
The world has just literally piled him up with thing after thing.
yeah. But I'm like, because I guess maybe because I wasn't that emotionally invested in making sure that like Jack uh I wasn't that emotionally invested in all the characters, so their interactions and just being like their reunions and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool that that all
Oh,
happened. And then
you
the way
have
that it ended.
you have to see the Scotsman's intro.
Yeah,
The insult is just
yeah, yeah.
legendary.
I remember seeing like just a clip of that of the Scotsman just doing this 5 minute long insult.
And then on top of it, they do different camera angles.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that was a stylistic choice for them because they kind of wanted to give it like a 70s kind of vibe
Okay.
with like how some action films do that and some of
Mhm.
those, which I 100% am behind.
Mhm.
There we go.
I do remember that I wanted to get the Samurai Jack game.
There we go.
Oh yeah, now we got some depth.
Hmm. And I might shade this just a tad darker,
Okay.
or maybe actually lighter, because further in the back.
Oh yeah, directly under the lights.
Mm-hmm. Oops.
I wonder how this will look in 3D.
Hmm. Let's duplicate that.
With like glass bottles and ray traced reflections.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently Blender has updated now so that the Eevee the Eevee renderer will do ray tracing.
Hmm.
So good for glass and possibly good for transparent materials too.
There we go.
It's kind of a challenge getting stuff to look perfectly glass-like or jewel or gem-like in using Eevee. Using cycles, it's apparently really easy, but I need a better computer to do that in Blender.
I think I'm mostly done except for fine touches.
Yeah,
Might do some of
just the
that
stuff you want
next.
to do offline. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe offline because it will be more tedious.
Okay.
But yeah, I think this will do. I've got
All right.
chairs, I've got better lighting, and we've got plenty of booze and
Yeah.
syrups.
Yeah.
So, thank y'all for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe. I do some of these every now and again. I need to do more. I kind of want to do a segment on why even painting, but that depends on my motivation and also just time and all that fun
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But
Maybe I was wondering if we ought to do the Trippy Dreams illustrations on your next
oh
art
yeah,
stream.
I've been behind on those. That
Yeah,
would
and I've
probably
got
be a
like
good way to get some of that through.
yeah, and I've been like, let's see, I think I have 3 books in the works now. Like one of them is being sent to a friend of my sister's for editing,
Hmm.
possibly if she wants to edit. Um, Another one is well, we've got the Trippy Dreams one, and then the third one is I forgot. I have it like partially written somewhere. But yeah, like it's I I don't know. I might legitimately have a little bookstore in my mind here that I could just put out there.
Hmm.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Yeah. I will see y'all next time.
Bye.